If you work in university maintenance, Granger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Granger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRANGER, visit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done. If you work in university maintenance, Granger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Granger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRANGER, visit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome back. Thank you for checking out this bonus edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm 12 Kyle. Check this out. Can I rant for a second? All right, listen. I'm not really what you would call a picky eater, right? I grew up in an era where pretty much, we were told that you were to eat whatever was placed in front of you. We didn't have in the 70s and 80s, we didn't have like a lot of different options, if you will. So whatever your mom and dad or grandma, or whoever was eating, that's what you ate. So it's not a lot of things that I don't eat, but there are quite a few things that I don't eat that I just don't eat, right? And I feel away if someone tries to give me something that I don't eat. So yeah, I came to this topic because on two separate incidents within a 2-week period, I was given tomatoes. Now, don't laugh. I don't eat tomatoes. I don't like tomatoes. I've never liked tomatoes. So one day I was out and about, driving around, listening to music, got kind of hungry, right? So I was like, oh, snap. Let me go to Wendy's. I hadn't been to Wendy's in a while. I don't really do fast food spots that much, but on this particular day, I was hungry. I didn't feel like, coming home and eating something. And I was like, let me just get something to eat. So I go get the number one. And I think it was number one with like cheese and bacon, right? And I say, no tomato, no onions. Now, I don't mind onions, but, I didn't want an onion that day. Wanted to keep my breath relatively fresh. So when I saw my wife, I wouldn't have onion breath and kiss her. But so I didn't want the onion. But I said, no tomato. Just hold the tomato. And, as I've gotten older in my age, and older in these years, I should say, I've learned to, particularly during this pandemic, once you get your food, check your food, because, and I don't know if it's because of the shortage of workers or whatever, but the order is not right unless you go to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has never gotten my order wrong. I mean, like, service with a smile, but that's another story for another day. So anyway, I get home ready to, throw down on this burger, and something said, open it up and look and see. And lo and behold, they did not put an onion on there, but like 7 tomatoes were on the joint. I don't like tomatoes. I don't eat that. Like, tomatoes are slimy. They taste, and no shade to any of you who eat tomatoes, but tomatoes are nasty. So I had to take the 7 tomatoes off the burger, had to scrape the tomato juice and tomato fillings or whatever it is off my lettuce so I could enjoy my burger. Now I managed to eat the burger and didn't taste any tomatoes, I guess, but still a little peeved nonetheless. Then about a week later, I go to this place called Zaxby's, pretty popular fast food restaurant here in the South. I'm not sure if they have Zaxby's where you are, but nonetheless, um, they've got these great salads. In fact, they call them Zalids. So I get the Zalid, one of my favorite salads, and I say no tomatoes because I don't like tomatoes on salads. And, I'm driving. Now, what I should have done was checked while I was in the line because I actually had time before I pulled off. And it's, just a quick glance just to make sure that you don't have any tomatoes. But I didn't do that, right? And so I get home and no, I didn't even get home. I think I got out of the parking lot and I got like halfway up the street and I realized that tomatoes were on the salad. Now, I had the option of turning back around, but honestly, Zaxby's service is so slow. Well, it was lunchtime, so it was moving pretty fast, but a lot of times the service is kind of slow. So I'd already spent 20 minutes in line. I didn't want to spend another 20 minutes just to get another salad. So I was just like, I'll just pick the tomatoes off, scrape tomato juice, tomato fillings, or tomato trimmings, or whatever that crap is, and go from there, right? But I said all that to say this, like, how hard is it to hold the tomatoes? It's not hard at all. If someone says no tomatoes, then that means just that, no tomatoes. Oh, this guy doesn't want tomatoes. Maybe he's allergic to it. Maybe they make him puke. Let's get rid of the tomatoes. But no, they kept the tomatoes on my salad. I had to scrape it off, whatever. So I don't eat tomatoes. So it got me to thinking about other things that I don't eat. Right. It's not a long list, but it's, some of the stuff may surprise you. Some of it may not. Liver. I don't eat that. I don't know. In fact, I don't know too many people who do eat liver. But liver might be the nastiest thing on earth. I do recall, again, going back to, it's had to be like 78, 79. I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I remember my mom cooking some liver. And what's interesting was I remember her cooking the liver, and the liver smelled really, really good. But listen, once I took a bite out of that, oh my gosh, man, it tastes like a tire. It tastes like a brown tire. It was nasty. And I spit it back out. And my mom said, "You're going to eat that liver." And I told her I didn't want it. And she said I was going to eat the liver. And she said, "You're not going to get up from that table until you eat that liver." Now, I don't know about most of you, but those of you who are Black, who are listening to this podcast, you've probably heard that before from your parent, guardian, or loved one. I don't know about other races. I don't know about other cultures. I don't know how y'all get down. But in the Black household, you probably heard that before. You ain't getting up from this table until you eat that food. And so subsequently, I sat at the table for the next 3 hours. I ate everything else, but that liver stayed on that plate, Jack. And, it got to the point where I was dozing off at the table. I mean, like, I was, relatively small. So, I do remember my legs going numb or falling asleep, if you will, while I was at the table. So, yeah. But eventually, I won. I won the battle. My mom came in there, got me away from the table, and told me to go to bed, which was fine for me because I was relatively full. But I wasn't eating that. I don't like that. What else? Squash. Don't eat squash. Interestingly enough, when I was like 6 or 7, between like 6 and 10, like I would eat squash all the time, but I lost the taste for it. I'm a firm believer in that. If there's something that you eat and you eat it consistently, and then all of a sudden you stop eating it for years at a time, you could lose the taste for it. So, I don't know. I mean, like I love French fries, but if I stopped eating French fries for 5 years, would I lose the taste for French fries? I think that's possible. Not likely, but it's possible. And the reason why I say not likely because French fries is one of my favorite foods. But yeah, you can lose the taste for something. But I'm not going to stop eating French fries, so that's beside the point. Yeah, squash. I don't eat that. Okra. Okra kind of falls in the category of like tomatoes, real slimy, nasty, just ugh. I don't eat that. Now, I have had fried okra before, and that was a little bit better, but nah, I'm not eating that. Okra in general is nasty. My wife eats okra, and she'll cook it and saute it and all kind of crap like that. I just look at it. I'm not eating that. And subsequently, I don't make my kids eat it either. I mean, they can if they want to, but I'm not eating it. You sit at the table. Why doesn't Daddy have okra? Because I'm grown. What else? Zucchini. I think most of you probably don't eat zucchini. I've had zucchini a couple of times. It's not bad, but it's not good either. I don't eat that. Oh, beets. There's a theme here. Beets. Beets are nasty. Beets are really, really yucky. I don't know too many people who eat beets, but I did have a friend once in high school who loved beets. Like that would be his thing. And I just thought he was the weirdest person on the planet for that. Oh, here's a popular one at Thanksgiving. Cranberry sauce. That is very nasty as well. I don't get it. And again, it's something that I see a lot of people talk about eating at Thanksgiving. If you have cranberry sauce at your Thanksgiving dinner, I'm not going to say I won't come, but I won't eat that. In fact, don't even bring it around me. And ironically enough, it's normally at Thanksgiving in my house or wherever we eat. If we eat at my in-laws, wherever, my mom's house, somebody normally has cranberry sauce. But nah, bro. I'm not eating that. Speaking of Thanksgiving, dressing, or as some people call it, stuffing. Now, depending on where you are in the world, some people call it dressing, some people call it stuffing. That was something that I ate when I was really, really little, and I loved it. But again, I got away from the taste of it. So it's like, and I've had it in subsequent years. Probably, I had some probably about 2 years ago. It wasn't that bad, but after I ate it, I was like, I'm not eating that again. It didn't make me sick. It didn't make me, go to the bathroom or anything. I just, I ate it. I'm not eating that again. It's just how it is. It's just like that was something that was a thing that particular day. And never again. This next one may surprise some people. Jello. I don't like Jello. And I know that sounds very odd for a kid who grew up in the 70s and 80s. Nah, man, because that was very popular, right? Jello was very popular. In fact, Jello was pushed by a national spokesperson who turned out to be a piece of shit. But that's another story for another day. But nah, Jello, I can't do it. It's just something about the texture of Jello in your mouth. I understand why Jello is popular, but I just can't do it. Can't do it. It's nasty. My kids loved it when they were growing up. Can't stand it. What else? Let's see here. Trying to think. Oh, here's another one. Not very popular. It may be surprising to some. As someone who grew up in the South, born and raised, well, not born, but raised in the South, watermelon. Oh my God, I can't stand watermelon. I don't even like the smell of watermelon. About the closest you can get me to watermelon is watermelon bubblicious back in the day. Watermelon is nasty and it smells nasty. And I mean, I guess, being in the South and the images of, black people eating watermelon is not a good looking image, if you will, but I don't eat that. I just don't. I do not eat that. I will not eat watermelon. And what's interesting is, again, everybody in my house eats watermelon except me. It's not something that I forbid people from eating around me because the smell doesn't bother me that much, but no. In fact, I remember growing up, kids, summertime, that was the thing. Like, this is going to sound weird, but in my hometown of Florence, South Carolina, I remember there was a guy. They used to call him the Watermelon Man, and he had this watermelon truck, and he would drive by like neighborhoods, and like it's funny when I think about it now. Oh my gosh, I'm just having these memories. He was sort of like the ice cream man. Like, he would come into the neighborhood and he'd have watermelons on the back of his truck, and you could buy watermelon. And like the kids would come running out of their apartments or their house. And, mom and dad would come out and buy watermelons, and people would sit there and, cut it up. And, that was like the thing to do. And it was the food to eat. And I guess because also from what I understood as a kid, like watermelon was something that, traditionally could cool us off. If you're out there in the sun, in the heat, and you're picking cotton, you get yourself a slice of watermelon, and it cools and soothes you or what have you. I guess. I don't know. You'd have to ask your ancestors about that one. But that was the premise by which watermelon was presented to me at a young age. And then, kids would spit the seeds out on the ground. And you have these little black seeds. They look like, termites or something. Nah, man. Hate watermelon. Again, no knock to any of you who eat these things, but I don't eat that. I just don't. I don't eat that. And at this point, at the time of this recording of 49 years of age, I'm never going to eat any of this stuff. Ever. Last but not least is one that is somewhat controversial. And, I've said this, I think I've said it before in this podcast, and I've said it at other places. And as soon as I say it, people say they're going to take my black card, which you can't take my black card because I'm black. You can't take my card. How dare you? But chocolate. Hold on. Relax. Let me explain. Yeah, just not a fan of chocolate. Well, some chocolate. Here's the thing. I can and will eat chocolate candy bars. So like Snickers. Love Snickers. What was the candy bar that I used to eat as a kid? It was called whatchamacallit. Whatchamacallits I'll eat. Snickers. I'll eat peanut M&Ms. Never the plain, because plains are nasty. What else contains chocolate? Reese's Cups. Reese's Pieces. I'll eat those. Other than that, that's about as far as I'll go with chocolate. I don't eat chocolate chip cookies. I don't eat chocolate ice cream. Chocolate ice cream to me tastes like paper, like sandpaper. I mean, like, it's nasty. And it leaves like you eat chocolate ice cream, you always like have to drink something afterwards. It's really nasty. And chocolate cake. I know some of you guys' heads are exploding by now, but nah, chocolate cake, no, don't eat it. I remember one time, at my job, my old job, this is years ago, 10, 15 years, at least 15 years ago. Yeah, it was 15 years ago because I don't think we had Brandon yet. And but anyway, they decided to give me my job decided to give me a cake for my birthday. And so they bring the cake in, everybody sings happy birthday. And it's like, oh yeah, Kyle, cut the cake. So I go to cut the cake because all I'm seeing is just white icing, right? I go to cut the cake. The cake is a chocolate cake. I'm like, oh shit. I'm not eating this. And so they were like, no, cut a big piece. And then I was like, nah, I'm good. I just ate lunch. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool. No, you need to cut a big. So one of my coworkers comes over. She cuts this huge piece, puts it on my plate. So I can't tell them at this point that I don't eat chocolate cake. And nobody volunteered to ask me if I even ate chocolate cake. But they just assumed that I did. So, that's what you get for your assuming. Nonetheless, so cake's sitting on my plate, and we go back to work, and everybody's walking by. Oh, happy birthday, blah blah blah. Oh, you're not gonna eat your cake? Oh yeah, I'm kind of full right now. I'm gonna eat it. And then I took a piece and I just kind of threw it in the trash, like made it look like I took a bite. And then like my manager came over and she was like, hey, you haven't eaten your cake? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna eat that. I'm kind of full from lunch, whatever. Man, when nobody was looking, I balled up that chocolate cake, put it in a napkin, squished it up, and threw it in the trash. And then so at the end of the day, it was time for me to leave to go home. And it's like, Kyle, take your cake home, share it with your family. I mean, really, I'm really not going to take a cake home that everybody's been breathing on and, wishing happy birthday on and everything like that. You strangers who don't take care of yourselves. And I'm going to take this germified cake home to my family. No, I don't think so. But I did take the cake, drove about a half a mile up the street to a dumpster, and subsequently threw it in the dumpster and proceeded to the crib. Yeah, man, chocolate. I don't eat it. I just don't. It's an acquired taste. It's not for me. If I'm somewhere where there is chocolate cake, I mean, I don't dump on it. It's just not. It's not something I'm gonna eat. It's just not my style. It's not how I get down. Some of you do, and again, there's no knock. Chocolate chip cookies, they look and smell pretty good. It's not anything that I'll ever eat. Yeah, man. So I had to get on here that tomato fiasco or fiascos, since it was twice within like a 2-week period. I just had to come on here and talk about what I don't eat. There's a few things, not a lot, but and again, I don't necessarily describe myself as a picky eater. I'm not like my boy to Eat Eclectic. Shout out to Eat Eclectic. He's a very picky eater. He did a podcast about it. But nah, I'm not picky. At least I won't describe myself as picky, but it's just certain things I'm just not gonna eat. And that's just how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking out this bonus edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5Gs.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From taco night in Tulum to sushi in Tokyo, make every bite rewarding with Gold from Amex. Wherever you dine, 4 times membership rewards points at restaurants worldwide are piling up. Learn more at americanexpress.com/explore-gold. Terms and points cap apply.